In the last session, we see that we are able to find the median with the help of formula. Now, in this session, we see that how we can find the median by drawing the graph. Now, let's see the question. Draw an OG for the following frequency distribution by less than method and also find its median from the graph. So, the table here, the marks, that is 0 to 10, number of students is 7, marks 10 to 20, the number of students is 10, and so on. So we have to find the median for this given informations. So first of all, we have to draw a less than cumulative frequency table. Now for preparation of less than cumulative frequency tables, we have to make two columns. The first column is of marks and the second column representing the number of student. For preparing a less than cumulative frequency table, we have to write marks less than, and we have to write here the upper limits of the each class interval. For the first row, the marks less than, that is the upper limit of the first is 10. So we have to write down marks less than 10. So the number of students whose marks is less than 10 is lying in the first class interval, that is 0 to 10. So the number of students is 7. Now in the second row we will write less than, marks less than, that is the upper limit of the second class, that is 20. So marks, number of students whose marks is less than 20 is lying in these two class interval, that is from 0 to 10 the number of students are 7, and from 10 to 20 the number of students are 10. So the number of students whose marks is less than 20, we have to add the frequencies of these two class intervals, that is 7 and 10. So the total number of students whose marks is less than 20 is 7 plus 10, that is 17. Number of students whose marks less than 30. So we have to add these three class interval frequencies, that is 7 plus 10, 17, 17 plus 23, that is 40, and so on. Marks less than 40, we have frequency 91. Marks less than 50, the frequency is 97. Marks less than 60, the number of students is 100. As we are add all this number of students, the total number of students is 100, and the total number of students is represented as capital N, that is sum of frequencies. Now we have to draw the graph for these tables. We have to draw the two mutually perpendicular lines. The horizontal line is called the x-axis and the vertical line is called the y-axis. On the x-axis we have to draw the marks of the students, that is the marks is varying from 0 to 60. So we have to marks, that is from 0, 10, 20 up to 60. Now as the number of students is from total number of students is 100, so we have to, on the y-axis we have to draw the number of students, that is from 0 to 100. So the each unit is of 10 students, and on the x-axis the each unit, or you can say the one big box of the graph, is equals to the 10 marks, and on the y-axis the one big box is equals to the 10 students, representing the 10 students. Now we draw the graphs, that is we have to plot the point, that is 10 on the axis 10, and the number of students is 7. So we have to plot a point 10 comma 7. So we have to plot this point representing the point 10, and the value is 7. So this point representing 10 comma 7, that means the number of students whose marks is less than 10 is 7. Number of students is 7. Now now next point is 20 comma 17. So the marks is 20, that is less than 20, and the number of students are 70. So this point representing the 20 comma 17. And this way we have plot all these points. So the number of students whose marks less than 60 is 100, that is all the students whose marks is less than 60. So this point representing 60 comma 100. Now after plotting all these points, we join these points by a freehand sketch. When we join all these points by a freehand, then this is called an ogive, or we can say it is a freehand sketch curve. This is called an ogive. Now after this is our less than cumulative less than ogive. This is called a less than ogive, because this graph is obtained from less than table. So now to find the median, we have to find a value that is n by 2, that is n by 2, that is 100 by 2, and the value of n is 100, so we are getting 50. So we have to draw a line from point 50 parallel to the x-axis. This line is drawn parallel to the x-axis, where this line cut the graph, that is, let's say this point is P. Now from this point P, we have to draw a line parallel to the y-axis. From this point, we have to draw a line parallel to the y-axis. Now this line is parallel to the y-axis. Now this line intersects the x-axis at this point. So the value of this point is 32, because it is just greater than 30. So we can assume that this value is 32. So this point is our median. Let's say this line intersect at 32. So the median is 32. So एक बार recall कर लेते हैं हमने क्या क्या किया. Now first of all we draw the less than frequency tables. We have to write down the less than and the upper limit of the each class intervals. That is less than the upper limit of the first class, that is 10, less than the upper limit of the second class, that is 20, and so on. Now the less than 10 means the number of students whose marks is less than 10, that is the frequency of the first interval. Less than 20 means the number of students whose marks is less than 20. So we have to include these two class intervals, that is 7 plus 10, that is 17, and so on. Now we draw the two mutually perpendicular lines. On the x-axis we draw the marks, on the y-axis we draw the number of students. Now we are plotting the point by considering marks as on the x-axis and the number of students on the y-axis. So we have to plot a point 10, 7. This point is 10, 7. Next is 20, 70. This point is 20, 70. Next point is 30, 40. 30, 40, and so on. Now as the number of students is 100, we have to find n by 2, that is 50. From 50 we draw a line parallel to the x-axis. This line intersects the graph at P. Now from P we draw a line parallel to the y-axis. Now this line intersects at the x-axis at this point. The value of this point is 32, which is representing the median. So the median of the given information is 32. Now we move to the next question.